spawning in on the faster position. It is going to be in the northwestern corner, Drewbie as our red Terran from Complexity Gaming, and the one and only EG.StrifeCro from this little team called Evil Genius. Not sure if you've heard of it, but pretty good team, and StrifeCro is one of their Zerg players, looking to do some pretty big damage to Drewbie.
Indeed, and as I mentioned, this is a GSL map. This is not one that MLG has quite yet adopted. As we said previously, it's an interesting map because there are only 2 spawning locations, but it is still relatively large. We see the naturals are nice and nearby with this tiny little choke. So we'll see exactly what strategies these players go for. Last time I saw a match on this map, I saw it was actually at TVZ, and it was actually Puma playing some Zerg, and he did this brilliant Hellion opener similar to what Drewbie has tried. So could certainly be viable on this map. The small choke at this natural can make it very difficult for the Hellions to get in. StrifeCro's been doing a great job with his SimCity, and the geographics of this map can only help the SimCity that he's been working. Looks like StrifeCro is going to go ahead and save up for that 15 hatch opener that he seems oh so comfortable with. We've seen it in just about every match so far in this series. Or actually, we have seen it in every single match this series. So not going to be surprised to see StrifeCro not stray from his norm here. He's actually going to go ahead and drop a 16 hatch, so a slightly more economic build here. Meanwhile, in the base of Drewbie, we do see the gas coming down at a normal time. Could go for a Reaper opener, could transition into some fast factory, into some fast Hellions, or even just go for that Marine siege tank play. Once again, the sky's the limit with this opener for Drewbie, with that pretty standard gas timing.
Definitely many things that Drewbie could be doing with that. As you see, though, he's going to be throwing down that tech lab, going to be doing the same strategy they did the last couple of times. Going to go ahead and throw down that Reaper and then switch it off with a factory. But a couple of things about this map that get asked pretty often. Yes, you can actually move across the waters. You see that drone happily making its way over there. It's just a nice little easy way to get across there. The water is not immovable, even though in most games it is. Drewbie now is going to be able to get into the base here. It's going to scout the timings of all of these buildings, and going to be pretty unimpressed with a standard hatch and pool timing for EG.StrifeCro. But a couple of other things to note about this map. If you take a look, you can see obviously where the naturals are. StrifeCro has already taken his. Drewbie will be taking his at some point in the game, almost certainly. And one interesting thing is in the main, if you actually take a look into Drewbie's main, and right there's a nice little ramp to actually hide a tech building. So unfortunately for Zerg, can't do it immediately, as it's you got to goop up to that creep spread, you got to goop that creep up there and then be able to throw down something. But that's always something interesting to keep an eye on. Interesting place for siege tank placement or anything like that for being able to defend the natural. So all interesting things to note as StrifeCro moves his Overlord to the back of Drewbie's base, and getting ready probably for a sacrificial scale.
Yeah, we do see the Reaper now at the natural of StrifeCro, just doing a little bit of damage. Unfortunately stuck on creep. He is going to be able to take out one of those lings and maybe able to drop the other one. Oh, a small miss micro from Drewbie right there. Fighting on creep is not ideal that early on. We do see relatively early speed coming out from StrifeCro. Once again, nothing too out of the ordinary. This is a build he seems very, very comfortable with as far as opening in TVZ. So not surprised once again to see this same old coming out, droning pretty heavily as well. We see he's got a tiny little lead for himself. Expect to see that jump somewhat here in the next few moments, as we saw Drewbie's expansion is now up. We'll run that over to the natural before too long here. The Lings just poking in. We do see Drewbie working on that Blue Flame Hellion upgrade, so we will be working those Hellions. Once again, that second factory is down, and we'll be hopping onto that reactor, so expect to see some Blue Flames come out very, very aggressively. Hopefully StrifeCro will have the tools in his toolbox to deal with it.
And something interesting, if you take a look at the StrifeCro cam and then go into Drewbie's base, there he actually sees the reactor going on back there. So Drewbie revealing a little bit of a tech on accident. StrifeCro is almost going to certainly know that blue flames are on the way. He did get shot with one of them. Didn't see anything researching immediately on the tech lab, but then shortly after poking up there, Drewbie started the research on the blue flame. All of these things are very, very important to notice. If StrifeCro did not see that, you know, he can't infer nearly as much, but it looks like he did as he throws down his own Roach Warren and gets a quick Spine Crawler. Going to continue the wall off there with an Evolution Chamber and try to be as Hellion-proof as he can, but there are so many entrances here to this base. Those destructible rocks make for a nice little narrow choke into the natural, but there is another way around right on the other side of that base. And, you know, something interesting to note is that it's much easier for the defending player to get from one place to another, and StrifeCro has just done a nice job walling off the second ramp as all of these Hellions move in. 8 Hellions are on their way. The one Queen is going to start doing some damage here, but Blue Flame is finished. I'm not sure if StrifeCro is ready for this. 3 Roaches are going to come up here, and if those 3 Roaches get a nice block here, it will be hard for Drewbie to move in, but you can see Drewbie is utilizing the second entrance here, and he's going to be able to make his way in. There is one Queen just on hold position right next to the mineral line, but Drewbie now coming into the main. All of the probes are getting split up here by StrifeCro. A nice job by him, but there are so many Hellions doing so much damage.
Yeah, and Drewbie continuing to fry up these workers. StrifeCro trying to micro them around as best he can, but it looks like he may possibly lose that Queen as well. No, Drewbie is just going to go straight for the natural. Still so many workers getting annihilated here. 2 Hellions left and just continuing the assault. StrifeCro did have those Roaches out, but unfortunately they just weren't enough. 29 Harvesters killed Janitor. That may be enough to seal the deal here in what could be the last match of this series. More Hellions on the way in. One of them makes it through, but is taken out in that last wave of defenses. So many workers have gone down. Now we see Drewbie more than doubling his opponent's income as well as his opponent's harvester count. Drewbie now in just a fantastic position.
4 more Hellions are in the base, by the way. It looks like they're going to get a nice fry up. A couple more drones do go down. This is very, very bad. 34 workers have been killed for Drewbie, and that is painful to watch. StrifeCro does not have a good amount of workers, and oh no, he looks like he's lining them up for Drewbie, and Drewbie might be able to take down another one of those. Another shot, taking down quite a few workers. He's now down to 6 drones for StrifeCro. The Roaches are moving in here for a bit of a counterattack. Drewbie is going to be forced to lift off that command center probably. Siege Tech is not quite finished, and if he lets those Roaches in, it could be very, very hard to deal with.
Yes, indeed. It looks like he is going to go ahead and pull some workers here to try and repair. Unfortunately, it's not going to be quite enough. Siege Tech is just about finished, and there it is. Unfortunately, this one tank will all but certainly fall. And this is an interesting place to be in, even though StrifeCro has no workers. Drewbie really doesn't have that much in the way of army value. Another tank did pop out, and Drewbie was forced to pull a lot of workers here. This is a scary time. If he can siege up this tank in the back, he may be able to hold this. Looks like he's not going to siege it up. He is just going to continue fighting. He pulled all of his SCBs to deal with this, and oh no!
Oh.
Drewbie forced to GG, losing a bit too much.
Wow!